Sorry about that, I had to change controllers. And the moment a familiar name comes up, I know my concerns right now aren't completely baseless.
Rose called me earlier.
Her expression swiftly changes, and gently as she can, Isabella pushes my hands away. Yet, even before she says anything, I already have a hunch about this whole thing will play out.
Oh, no, everything's good. Rose covered for me at work today.
Ah.
That's not what I'm talking about. How's your head?
Then and there, the whole conversation goes down as I've imagined. She dodges my hand, and when I reach for the back of her head, intended to check the said injury myself, even makes a show of hiding behind Zach just to avoid me. Instantly, what's supposed to be a simple inquiry dissolves into a shameless game of tag. Shouting and chasing like none of us can be bothered to act like full-grown adults we're all supposed to be, including Ashton. I won't put it past Isabella, but Ash. I won't put it on past Isabella, but Ash, out of everyone. In fact, that stupid smirk on his face tells me anything. He finds this whole mess amusing. Oh, for the love of...
Isabella, this isn't a laughing matter.
She did look pale when I saw her.
Wow, thanks a lot, Ashton, you traitor. I'll get you back for this, just you wait.
What? I'm just saying it as it is. If you mentioned this earlier, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Facts. There's a moment's pause. My hand stills midair. To my attention shifts to Ashton and the words he leaves hanging between the four of us. Oh wait, this is like, okay, so this is the movie. Okay, gotcha. He doesn't meet my eye, but he doesn't meet my eye. I don't think he is even aware of what he said. But the meaning in each syllable alone is clear. And they echo. And they sting. They burn.
I'm sorry. Saw her?
Yeah, they arrived together. Bella looked fine to me then. I don't know.
Of course. Why else would Isabella leave on her own after being told to stay put? After that little chat about money this morning. Something close to silence falls while I mull over their words, both what's already been said and what's left unspoken. When I do find my voice, it only reeks with nothing but bitter, unpleasant thoughts. Thoughts I quickly stamped out before they surfaced. Thoughts I hide the best I can in the deepest parts of my mind, locking it away for no one to see.
Oh, that's good. At least she didn't have to travel alone, right? At least. Good.
You don't sound too happy about it. Yet try as I might. The green-eyed monster easily rears its ugly head, like it always does every time his gaze lingers a second longer. Every time he smiles in a manner far too gentle, far too sincere. Whenever he thinks no one can see. Every time my mind suggests his words mean more than they should. Every small little thing. Despite his tone.
Look, you guys.
For all I know, it may just be the same kind of fondness born from friendship. Maybe I'm simply overthinking, like he often tells me. Or maybe there is something there. But in his short display of impatience, I know the whole of it is just for show. After all, growing up together with him didn't teach me nothing about him. For whose sake it is this time though? For him? For Zachary? For her? Or for me? That I can't tell.
If she says she's okay, then there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like we can stop her either.
Right?
Besides, she's still acting like the same old Isabella to me, if she can still run around like that.
Why are you taking her side?
I'm not. But if she wants to watch Zach's movie with us, I'm not going to stop her. She's probably the one looking forward to it the most.
Ash, that's... You, of all people, should know...
Tell you what, if I notice something amiss with her, I'll take her to the nearest hospital myself. Is that good enough for you?
My mouth opens, then snaps shut almost as quickly, forming a thin, hard line instead. I can't respond, not because there's nothing to say. On the contrary, there's plenty, so many things I can use to reason and get him to agree. But because he speaks with much certainty, much reassurance, it feels like there isn't a choice. All I can give is a long deep breath and a reluctant nod to face it, in the face of it. Before I can get a grip of myself and my own weakness, the mood immediately shifts and I'm being tackled into a hug.
Thanks, Becca.
It's always been you with him, isn't it?
Did you say something?
Me? Nothing. Don't mind me.
I lie, obviously. What else can it be? Each and every smile, a tiny effort to keep things as they are, or so I tell myself. Little do I know, this is merely a preamble. It starts out quietly, without fanfare, amidst friendly jibes and harmless teasing, with a scrap of paper fluttering harmlessly to the ground. Oh yeah, this. That one looks suspiciously like a cheap. One that looks suspiciously like a cheap Halloween prank, no matter how you look at it. And yet, despite how ludicrous it all is, Isabella stubbornly insists, as if our whole life depends on acknowledging the truth of her story. Does she even realize how absurd that she sounds now? Criffins, even my students wouldn't fall for this.
Isabella, aren't you taking this a bit too far?
I don't know. I don't think this is a prank, though. She doesn't give me time to regret nor think over my choice of words. From there, it grows into an argument too petty even for our standards as adults. Before we know it, one after another, harsh, scathing words are being spoken.
It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first?
Yeah. I don't think this would be a joke. I'm just saying, if I seen this, I don't think it'll be a joke.
I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me. If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Right. And in broad daylight, Isabella. Even someone gullible would find the logic in that screwed up.
I would say gullible. I mean, I don't know, man. I guess someone who's very perceptive. I mean, unless you believe in supernatural things, which I do, but even then, I don't think so.
There's also no way in hell that this supernatural shit is true.
How would you know?
But it's real! What do you think I saw?
A hallucination? A delusion? Didn't you say you fell down some stairs? So maybe Rebecca's right.
That was after.
It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
But someone has to be patient in all this, and however much my own has already been frayed earlier, there's no one else. Who else here can deal someone selfishly acting like a kid. Like every other time, it has to be me.
We are, and you know that. But this thing and that thing has got nothing to do with the other. When Rose called earlier, I thought she's just exaggerating. But based on what I'm seeing right now, maybe it's better if we really postpone this for now.
Don't bother.
Just like that, she cuts us off. She slams the door right on our faces while my own temper flares before I can stop it. Although it falters briefly at the hard expression on her. When she snatches the blasted paper from Ashton, I hold on to it. Regardless of how upset she appears, soured expression and balled fists, throwing a temper is simply unacceptable for a grown woman at that. Words form at the tip of my tongue, ready, but before I can open my mouth and let all of it out, her feelings and mistakes be damned, Zach raises a voice of his own.
Guys!
A warning underneath the warm and hopeful beat in his voice. We all stopped and look at him. Even my own anger subsides a little tone in his.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. But no need to be hard on her. And hey, ain't this supposed to be a happy get-together?
Right? To an outsider, it may sound like a desperate request, but Zachary has always been the one to keep a level head over petty squabbles. This time's no different. He knows what to say and when to lets it. And when he lets it fall, the only ring sharp and true.
We haven't seen each other for months. I'd really love to know what y'all have been up to. I only ever get to talk to Bella over chat. Please.
As careful as he is with his own tone, it does make me feel ashamed. We're supposed to be there for him to give. We're supposed to be there for him to give what little support we can. Yet here he is trying to keep three stubborn people from outright hashing it out in public. Later, we can and we will talk about it, of course. There's a proper time and place for it. And at the moment, my anger and whatever reprimands it carries no longer matter. Besides me, Ashton appears to have already caught on. The lines of his shoulders ease to something much more relaxed, his expression back to his usual nonchalance. Isabella, however, she stands perfectly still, with her hands clasping the straps of her bag like a lifeline, eyes trained at some point near her shoes. There's no anger in her face, only an undeniable hurt. But she's never been good at hiding what she thinks. Always the open book, always the one to wear her heart out in the open. And when she does look up, her answer is also as simple.
If we keep arguing here, we're going to miss the first few minutes.
Her lips are curled with a smile, though lacking both its usual brightness and glee. It's a smile nonetheless. I've seen it countless of times. It's the very same one she would show when she knows the other choice. She has no other choice, or simply when things get tough for her. But despite everything I already know about her, it still catches me off guard. In all honesty, I expected her to run, to balk at the first sign of losing it this time. I wouldn't even be surprised. At 26, she is the youngest among the rest of us, less experienced, less accustomed to dealing with trivial quarrels like this. Yet here she is, holding herself and coping with it, my bad, like how she would with matters concerning her family. outside of that, to me, she's always been this childish, naive girl, and watching the opposite play out right now. Somehow I find it difficult to wrap my head around.
All right, that's the Isabella I know.
Oh, good. I thought for sure you were going to cry.
But I envy her.
What was that for?
Stop calling me a crybaby. I'm not one.
Oh, don't cry.
Stop it.
I envy her spirit, her warmth, her cheer, the shine in her eyes when she looks at the world. How everything seems to simply fall back to a pleasant, lively rhythm around her, with her around. How easily and tightly she fits into our lives, even without bonds only long years could forge. Like a lost piece of puzzle, despite her jagged edges, she draws people to her with ease. How Ashton of all people can be drawn to her. How Ashton of all people can be drawn to her.
Okay, scaredy cat then.
That too. If you repeat that, I swear I'll...
Let's just go.
Is she jealous? I mean, okay, I guess. I make no effort keeping the bitterness from my tone. I let it seep, lingering stiffly in the air as I avert my gaze from them. From their playful banter, their friendly teaser remarks, and Ashton's tender, affectionate smiles. All before the stabbing aches in my heart change into something too painful to bear. It's all in my head, is what I often tell myself. Yet, the way my heart rends at the sight of them hurts. And like a coward, I walk away from all of it, taking with me a small hope the movie will distract me away from these thoughts. Because like this, it's easy to find something to hate in her. Dusk has already given way to night when we leave the film fest. Unfortunately, it does nothing to improve my mood like I am hoping. Neither does the muggy air that greets us upon stepping back into the noisy streets. Too busy, too loud, too many people taking what little space on the sidewalk offers. It forces anyone to bump shoulders with those they barely know, let alone care about. Ooh. On a normal evening, I probably wouldn't have mind. The crowd nor the humid weather. It's not like any of them are bothering anyone. And yet, even with that, admittedly, a pleasant company, I can't bring myself to lighten up.
See you guys some other time.
Yeah. See ya.
Not even close to return the smiles Ashton and Zachary gives us when we go our separate ways. Perhaps this started with Miss Cooper's call, or earlier than that. Maybe even the moment I left bed this morning. Bloody hell. It could have been because of that sodding letter, for all I know. I couldn't care less at this point. All I wanted is to get a warm bath, sleep, and wait for this dreadful day to end. Now, if only Isabella would stop babbling, then maybe this dull throbbing at the side of my head won't turn into a full-blown headache, too.
Zach did a pretty good job with his movie, didn't he? Even though Ash said he ran into some trouble late into filming.
Ah.
But I knew he had it in him. It's not like I didn't believe he couldn't do it. I mean, did you see his face after the credits rolled?
Mm-hmm. There we go. Sorry about that.
All those months he worked on this, and everything's finally...
You weren't even watching.
Only the first minutes. I watched the rest of it, I swear. Besides, Ashton was the one who wouldn't stop asking questions.
Well, why do we still need to talk about this then? I liked it. Ash liked it. You liked it. Shouldn't you be telling that to Zachary in person? I'm sure he'll appreciate it better than I ever will.
Oh, wow. I mean, she does have a point. Although she couldn't have said it in a different way, but... I mean, I kind of understand why.
I know that, but maybe there's something you want to say? Zach had you check the scripts before he went through everything, didn't he? You also worked on it, even if it was only for a short time. So, maybe you want to...
I don't bother waiting for the rest. The moment I spotted my car, I immediately make a quick beeline for it. Knowing her, this is merely another attempt at starting a conversation. Just so we'll have something to fill the dead air, to replace the strained atmosphere we somehow walked into. One thing, the very thing, I'm not too keen about with at the present. Behind me, Isabella also changes up her pace to match mine, her soft stride growing brisk and uneven in order to catch up. A small part of me half expects she'll suddenly trip. She's not the clumsy sort, but there are definitely times when she can be the least coordinated person on the planet.
Becca, hey! Oh no. Wait for me!
And people wonder why I worry. They're not really completely unfounded. Once you've already grown familiar with her habits, though right now, this is also at the very end of the list of things I want to think about. Sometimes it becomes overbearing. Sometimes it does become overbearing. Even her voice as she calls after me sounds nothing more than background noise to my ears now.
Rebecca, slow down, will you? Your car's not going to leave without us.
The sooner we get on the road, the earlier we can get home. It's Friday, in case you didn't notice.
I know what day it is, but the traffic's not going to magically disappear, even if we go there right now.
I don't want to hear that from you. Didn't you used to complain how horrendous the traffic is back home for you?
Yeah? But that doesn't have anything to do with this, Becca.
Okay. What do you want to do then? Wait it out? Walk? I just want to go home, Isabella.
That's understandable, because I get like that too.
If you want to stay out here longer, I won't stop you. But leave me out of it. I'm not up for any other foolish excursions tonight.
I mean...
I wasn't thinking about an excursion. I want to go home too. It's already late. It's just that you've been in this prickly mood since earlier. Are you really okay? Was it the cold? Or did something happen at school? Do you want to talk about it?
I don't know. A long pause follows, and it holds everything she's been meaning to ask from the very start. I'm in no mood, but all the time, my hand stops short of unlocking my car, and my grip on the handle tightens. I can feel her eyes boring on me, waiting, hoping patiently for any answers I give. She's the same as Zachary. They're bad liars. But when you talk to people like them, if you're not careful, they often leave you with no other choice but to admit the truth. Those exact same ones I can't voice. Despite my lack of response, she pushes on surprisingly. This time her tone is quieter, more tentative than usual.
Was it because of the letter?
It's a well-meaning question, much like the rest of this talk, yet something in how she says it irks me.
If it is, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to cause a scene. I did see something in the mansion, though. I wasn't lying about that.
Wherever she wants to take this, I no longer want to hear a word of it. Not at this minute, preferably never. Especially when there are already million other things buzzing and prodding inside my head. I'm not in the mood to talk. Sometimes my patience can only be tired. Sometimes my patience can be tried for so long.
And during the open house, even if there were a lot of people around, there were weird things happening.
I mean, we don't have to be grumpy towards Isabella or anyone, I guess.
I don't know if there was anyone else who noticed, but I heard things. I'm sure it wasn't because I fell down the stairs. Even before that, in the attic,
Isabella.
Yeah?
A pause, though. I don't let it last. Only to give myself a small window to breathe. Before I lay down, the words between us with as much restraint my patience allows. Which is not much after everything. I can only hope Isabella will simply take them as they are. She can't be stubborn as a mule when she wants to be.
This kind of conversation tonight. Look, it's been a long day. I think this cold also caught up with me, and I'm really exhausted. Can we talk about this some other time?
Yes. She blinks, and although disappointment flashes momentarily in her face, she gives me a curt nod. A relief enough for me. Perhaps the first time I genuinely feel it today. And unpleasant as this day has been. Seeing something go the way I've anticipated takes the edge out of it. Even if lying through my teeth had to go with it.
Oh, alright. You should have just said so.
Well, she tried.
I told you should have taken a full week off. Were you able to get the meds I brought you, though? Do you need anything? I could drop by the pharmacy for you.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, no need to fuss. A good night's sleep is all I need. I've been busy the whole day. I guess I should have listened to you and taken it easy. But we have exams to prepare for. It's one or the other, you know?
I knew it! Here I thought you were just upset about something. Even Ash looked a little bit worried about you.
It's fine. Let's just head home, okay? I'll make it up to you next time. Call me out to lunch or wherever. Just... not right now.
Okay, but should you be driving? If you want, I can call a taxi for us. You'll hate paying the extra fees, but you'll be able to get some rest on the way home.
No.
No, don't call a cab. I can manage driving at least. Just get in the car so we can be on our way.
I'm already opening the door and climbing into the seat before she can protest. With no other choice, she follows inside shortly, albeit a bit of reluctance. The guilt from this will eat at me later, but for now, these little falsehoods are mine to bear and hide under. For now, this is the better choice. Better than pretending she doesn't exist or giving her vague answers. Certainly better than harsh words and outright lashing out at her. Yeah, because we all have bad days, and I try not to snap on people or take it out on people. And no, I don't. Just because I have stuff going on in my life doesn't mean I'm typically a grumpy person. Sometimes I just want to relax and enjoy my days off. I can find a little comfort in that. Thankfully, if there is anything left to be spoken between us after, we won't have to discuss it on the way home. Or rather, we can't. Because no sooner than we hit the road, Isabella dozes off. Despite my foul mood, I still end up suppressing a laughter once the first sounds of her breathing filled the car.
Mama?
Not your mom, Isabella.
Slow and steady, the quiet rhythm, so completely unlike her, so far removed from every impression anyone has of her. A few faint whimpers will occasionally come for her, but otherwise it's just us. This silence, and it's so utterly unexpected. Still, a welcome break, of course. Peace and quiet is the one thing you'll rarely get with her around. Yet it's nowhere near comforting. It merely lends the air of this strange clarity, every little sound, every single moment, more palpable. And with it comes the unease. A jolt of surprise hits me. It's almost comical if this were a different situation. In my haste, I accidentally dislodged my mobile from its seat on the dashboard when I swiped on the screen. Soon I'm scrambling blindly for it with my hand while keeping a steady eye on the road ahead. A voice crackles from the loudspeakers before I can put it back. Although muffled heavily by the surface, I recognize the person on the other line from her chipper tone alone.
Hello?
Miss Cooper?
Oh, you're still awake. Evening. I hope I didn't disturb you or anything. I know it's a bit late. Sorry about that. I just want to check on you and Isabella. That girl's still not answering her mobile.
That's because she's sleeping.
Were you able to meet up with her?
Yes. She's with me. We're on our way home.
Hello? What was that again? I can't hear you properly.
Wait, are my headphones messing up, or is that the audio?
Sorry. Let me just fix this dumb phone.
My hand stops dead for a moment. I spare the device a brief glance, waiting. Second pass. Nothing happens though. Frankly, I'm not sure what I'm expecting, but the lines from my mouth forms a frown regardless.
Miss Cooper?
Yes, still here.
Did you say something?
Just that I didn't get the last part. What were you saying again?
Are my headphones? Wait, hold up. No.
No, I thought you... Never mind. Must be the signal acting up. Coming in?
What?
Is everything all right over there?
Certainly. Is something wrong? What wouldn't? Okay, you seem to be busy. If this is a good time, I can just call you back some,
I have to make a conscious effort not to panic right then and there, although my tight hold on the steering wheel tells a different story.
Miss Cooper? Rose? Hey, Rose! Are you still there?
Only a burst of static answers me, and maybe this lapse is entirely because of exhaustion. It has been a long day, and I haven't fully recovered from the last week's bout of flu, contrary to what I've been telling people. Though perhaps had I paid closer attention to it, had I not been so occupied with other thoughts, I probably would have noticed it earlier. That it never came to my phone, but from somewhere right behind me. Oh! Oh shit! Time slows to a crawl. Looking up is a mistake. The first thing I see is its face, a ghastly shade. Every inch every inch battered, and every inch battered, bruised, and bloody. Even in the dark, and the world passing by a blur of lights outside, I can still make out the wounds. Blood still oozes from it. Little trails of crimson running down its face, glistening under what little light there is. But it is the gleam in its eyes that catches mine. The quiet plea, the anguish, and the desperation in them, more than its hideous features and the awful stench of gore now soaking the air. And try as I might, I can't bring myself to look away. Even my lips contort into a horrific. Even its lips contort into a horrific smile. Oh, the Jim Carrey smile. Even as a sharp, harsh noise pierces the air and the silence around us.
Rebecca!
Oh shit!
Huh? Car! Eyes on the road!
Oh fuck! Against everything I've been taught, and I've constantly reminded myself to close my eyes. It's a brief moment, a short, vivid second of muscle memory and instinct completely take over. And if I didn't allow it, if my hands didn't move, or my feet didn't hit the brakes in that second, I might have. Exact second, I might have. Isabella and I might have. No. I shake the notion away before I lose myself in it. Right now, it's an ugly line of thought, and I refuse to venture into. Not when breathing is a struggle and every ounce of strength has been totally drained from my body. Most definitely not while Isabella's panicked voice beside me still rings in my ear. We're alive. We're safe. That's all that matters. But it's not her face that I look when I finally open my eyes. All gone. I expect that stains, little telling marks, and creases on the cover to show me where it sat not a second ago. But whatever it is, it left not a single trace. Though courage is a hard thing to gather at this point. I take what little of it remains in me and turn towards the back seat. Even then, there's none. Or was there really something there in the first place? With how empty it is, I'm beginning to doubt it. This stupid feeling.
I need a long rest after this.
My hands fall uselessly to my sides, numb from how taut my grip on the wheel has gone, yet still trembling from the unexpected rush of adrenaline. Against my ears, my heart still pounds in erratic rhythm, and my breathing hasn't slowed down. But the world has already right itself without waiting for me. And little by little, this second after second, as I sit here motionless, color begins to seep back around me. Along with it are the sounds and a voice, no longer the indistinct ringing it was earlier.
Becca, are you okay? Answer me, will you? You're scaring me.
Oh wait, hold on.
Rebecca, are you okay? You know what? I think we should just call a taxi since...
Can you keep it down?
Strained, harsh, and completely unintentional. but with heat prickling at the back of my eyes, the mild throbbing at my temple. I could have honestly do with a little silence for now.
Keep it down. We almost crashed, Becca.
I know what happened. It was a lapse. I'm sorry.
A lapse. You call that a lapse? Becca, I really don't want to end up a mangled mess on the side of the road, or a mangled mess anywhere. All I'm asking, if the time ever comes, which I hope isn't right now, is a peaceful death. Give that one to me at least. Not that I'm asking for it, but please.
Isabella. Belle, you're overreacting.
You almost crashed. I mean, I probably would react the same way too.
If you're so worried, why don't you drive?
Don't have a license.
I can relate to Isabella.
I keep telling you to get one, didn't I? For the past 5 years.
Hey, I'm working on. Hey, I'm working on that.
Do you see why now?
I wasn't really expecting to stay here this long. I thought it'd just be for a year or two.
All of a sudden, a pensive mood comes over her. Isabella looks away then, while what's left of my little lecture never crosses the tip of my tongue. I don't allow it to, because each of those words she let loose earlier is a small truth. Her stay has always been meant to be something fleeting. Earn some good money, go home. It's what she tell herself during the first year here. Now, half a decade later, I'm not sure if she still believes that. Even I'm not sure if I still believe it. And if there's something in her reasons that changed along the way, even if I already have a hunch, it's one thing I'll never bother to ask. Those are hers to keep.
I'll be careful this time, I promise. Just please. Can we give this whole thing a rest for now?
I mean, yeah. She nods, and that's the end of it. We spend the rest of the trip back to Salemwell in silence. All thoughts of an overactive imagination, playing tricks on a flu-addled mind, and smiles never meant for my eyes, abandoned, if only for a brief moment. Yeah. That's yeah. Yeah. That was a doozy. It begins innocently enough. Tuesday morning arrives, like any other day before it, bright and clear. Even though it comes with an extra helping of the unusual October weather, I appreciate being able to catch a glimpse of the clear skies lately. After going through a bout of sickness last week, it does lift something to lift the mood that would otherwise be a dreary morning. And despite being mostly a creature of habit, I wind up waking earlier than usual because of it. Still no earlier than Isabella, it appears. I assume she'll take a day or two off because of what happened to Miss Cooper. But that doesn't seem to be the case. The sound of the morning drifts from her unit when I walk past on my way to my mailbox. Chances are around this hour she's already dressed and ready to go, probably just waiting for the next bus to arrive. I tried following her example before, but I don't think I'll be repeating that.
Really? How can anyone be up before the sun is up?
It's a habit she got from home, she said. She instilled in her by the kind of life she grew up in. Like clockwork, it's always 4 a.m. to either help with the chores or prepare her little siblings for school. It surprises me the first time. She didn't seem like someone who could. In the end, I've simply passed it off as one of the many things anyone will have to get used to around her. Not that I'll fully understand. I'm my parents' only child. We aren't well off, but so far, I've lived a relatively easy life. I didn't have to think about bills or food the next day, or paying for any siblings' tuition on my own, or supporting a sick father medication. All I have to worry about were my grades, and if I gained mom and dad's approval, or what we'd be having for dinner. If we put next to hers, they all pale in comparison. They look less like problems and more like petty issues this way.
Petty issues?
But as unimportant as it all sounds, sometimes its ugly head rears at the most inappropriate moments. And sometimes they come through your mailbox in the form of a fancy-looking letter, pretty ribbons and all. Whoever sent this spent silly money on an envelope alone, verging on ridiculous, really. I can already imagine Isabella wrinkling her nose once she sees this. Then she'll complain about unnecessary expenses and rich people problems. I'm almost afraid to touch it myself, as if simply brushing a hand against its crisp surface will be enough to put a crease on it, and will be a terrible slight to the sender. But as extravagant as I find this, it isn't really the first time I've received one. Most of the time, it's not even for me, so who am I to complain? Either way, no look of surprise crosses my face once I slip the envelope to see my parents' name written in a neat script.
Nothing new then.
Their years in the academy nearly brought with it various connections and people from other fields, art, science, business, politics, you name it. This one, though, gives off much a personal vibe. Letters like this usually come from old students, people who've grown fond of my parents, and they in turn treat like children of their own. I've only met a few of them. Most have moved on to becoming successful in their chosen careers, and little letters like this are their way of expressing gratitude. It's one thing Mom and Dad are proud of, rightfully so, and I'm happy for them. But there are times I wish they'll remember they have a daughter here, the real one. Not that it's any importance. Not that it's of any importance now. It's not like they didn't raise me and well provided. It's not like they didn't raise me well and provide it for me. They did. I wouldn't be where I am now if it weren't for their hard work. And like a dutiful child, I do everything to give it back. Even if it's as small as a thing letting them know they've got another mail waiting for them. The phone rings for a good moment before someone answers. Mom, and her voice is warm as I remember.
Becca?